Welcome to Beginner's Guide to SOLIDWORKS Assembly Configurations lesson. Select the Configuration Manager tab, right-click and select Add Configuration. Type the name with gears, add a description, and click OK. Add another configuration, type the name Simplified, add a description, and click OK. Right-click on the default configuration, select Properties, rename it No Gears, and add a description. Click OK to continue. Split the Feature Manager and activate the No Gears configuration. Select the top cover and hide it. Select the Offset Shaft gear and select Suppress from the context toolbar. Select the Worm gear complete and select Suppress from the context toolbar. Expand the Mates folder and review the suppressed mates. Add the Offset Shaft component to the assembly and change its diameter. Mate the shaft to the housing using Smart Mates. Add the Worm gear component to the assembly. Add a concentric mate between the worm gear and the worm gear shaft. Add a parallel mate using the keyway faces. Use the mate command to add a width mate to locate the worm gear in the housing. Select the faces of the housing and then the faces of the worm gear. Activate the configuration with gears and suppress the offset shaft and worm gear parts. Activate the simplified configuration and suppress the worm gear complete and the offset shaft gear parts. Select all the screws and suppress them. Select the derived component pattern and suppress it. Select the offset shaft and move it. Select the Properties tab. Select each mate and click on Unsuppress. Select the worm gear and unsuppress the 3 mates from the Properties tab. Switch between the different configurations to see their differences. In the With Gears configuration, select the Offset Shaft gear, expand it in the Feature Manager, and from the Mates folder, suppress the coincident mate. Hold down the Control key, select the shaft and the housing, right-click and select Isolate. From the Assembly tab, click on Move Component, select Collision Detection and activate the These Components option. Select the housing and the offset shaft and click on Resume Drag. Activate the options Stop at Collision, Highlight Faces and Sound. Drag the shaft as indicated. Notice the shaft stops when it hits the housing. Click OK to finish and unsuppress the mate in the offset shaft gear. Click on Exit Isolate to show the rest of the components. Click on the housing and select Open Component from the context toolbar. Double-click on the side boss, change the diameter, and reveal the part. Double-click on the side hole's face, change the diameter, rebuild the part, and return to the assembly. Make a new part, add a new sketch in the front plane, draw the profile and dimension as indicated. Set the tolerances indicated in the dimensions properties. Make an extruded boss, set the depth, and click OK. Change the material to brass and save the part as bushing. Go back to the assembly and add 2 bushings to the assembly. Hold down the Control key, click and drag the bushing to make a copy. Use Smart Mates to mate the bushings as indicated on each end of the housing. Click on the housing and select Change Transparency from the context toolbar. In the Feature Manager, select the Worm Gear Shaft, Worm Gear Complete, and Offset Shaft Gear. Right-click and select Isolate from the context menu. Change to a front view and activate the Section View command as shown. Move the components to a non-interfering position and turn off the Section View. Click on the Mate command, expand the Mechanical Mate section, and select the Gear Mate. Select the two shafts, type the corresponding values for the gear ratios, and click OK to add the mate. Click and drag the shafts to see the effect of the gear mate. Click on Exit Isolate and turn off the housing's transparency. Select the top cover in the Feature Manager and make it visible again. Review the different configurations to continue. Open the display pane and modify the different components' appearance. Change their visibility, transparency, or display style. Right-click in the Display States panel and select Add Display State. Right-click on the new display state, select Properties and rename it All Visible. In the All Visible display state, make all components visible with the default view states. Double-click to change display states to see the differences. Select the Evaluate tab and click on Mass Properties. Review the results, close the dialog, and save the assembly.